Alright gang, so here's the ongoing problem. This is one of these drag specialties. See how it just hits right there? Bam. Bam. No movement on the clutch rod. So take this off. So lo and behold, this really is a genuine 36, 37. It's got the two up here settings for the clutch rod, and it's got that bend in it. I was positive that was somebody bent it at some time in history, but my parts guy in Oregon, in Dundee, Oregon, the expert, the most knowledgeable person out there in the universe on Harley-Davidson motorcycles, told me no, that this is a factory bend, and he sent me photos of a couple other clutch release levers that also had a bend. So what do? It just both of them, one with the bend, one without. Let's look at that again. It hits right there. So will not actuate it. Now I'm at a mystery of how this thing ever worked. Yeah, so do I put a bend in it right about here going out to get that little 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch movement that I need? I don't know. You tell me. God, I've had quite a few motorcycles and I have never had this problem. Let's see how many places this thing is secured. So I mean that looks to be the orientation it should be in. Yeah. So now it's got the correct pieces on the interior here, and I don't really see how you could rotate this out again. You know, knock this out with a press and then reposition it. So I'm at a loss. I think the only thing I can do is bend that rod to fit it, torch it, and bend it. I mean, the drag specialty ones, I'm sure that's what it is. It's very nice. It's a very nice rod. It's just about identical, other than a couple more bends or whatever, but that won't matter. So that's where I'm at. I've got a couple clutch packs to use if I can overcome this problem. I really don't think the problem is in here. The only problem it could be is this thing. Like this was never put in the. I think this is how it was from the factory. You know, and I just need this thing like rotated over or bend that rod so I can get the clutch, the pin right here to move. Right now it's not going to move, so yeah, the fun never ends. Ah, boy. So that's the next stage. I got to get a torch and get that bent and see if that can do it. I need barely any movement. This cable here, I can adjust back here to tighten it or loosen it. So the adjustment's up there, but no adjustment there is going to compensate for this thing the way it is right now. Isn't that strange? God, I've had dozens and dozens and dozens of motorcycles, and I've never had one with this quite a problem. So, all right, gang, that's it for today. Just thought I'd show you the weird shit that you encounter with a 36 Harley. But that indeed is a 1936-37. See how it's like it's brass welded in there, and then it's got the double up here, right? And the later ones and the knockoffs, this is how they look. And they're perfectly good. They'll do what you want them to do. And you can see where that lines up. And you can see where that lines up. So these are correct. That's how those things would line up on there. Fun never ends in my world. And when you put this new cap on in there, you kind of have to hold it in position and then just pop it on place and just screw it on. And but like I said, this does move that clutch rod over there. It does do it. So I'd be interested to know if anybody else has experienced this and what their take is on it. It's getting there. It's just I just don't know how this thing possibly drove before. With knowing this, I just do not know how this thing ever drove down the road. So, yeah. And so what I was thinking was, even if I shifted this transmission more forward towards the engine, because it's as far back as you can go to get the tension here on the rear train and on the primary train. It's the position it's in keeps both of them tight. So if I go backwards, that'll be even tighter up front. Actually, if I go forward, it's going to be looser up there, and it's going to be even tighter over here. So this is the position that it's in, but that's not going to have any bearing on this, because this is only going to rotate and hit that. And then what's weird is if you look here and you can see this scar across the top here, you wonder like what's going on here. It makes me wonder if the guy had like a cut down oil tank. I've literally seen oil tanks where people carved them up to fit different batteries. And I remember I had a 38 knuckle, and somebody had done that with the oil bag. They had carved it up for another battery, and I can't remember exactly how they did it, but makes me wonder if the height of the oil bag was different to put that scar into it right there. But anyway, gang, we're making progress. The engine fires up strong and idles strong. Just going to adjust all the oil flow once we get past the transmission issue, and then we'll tackle the dash again, and then tackle the brakes and tackle the electrics. And these bikes just grow on you. You know what I mean? If you love the old bikes because you love them, not because you love how much money you're going to make when you cash them in, that is so wrong to me. In my book, cashing in bikes is just so wrong. Do that with something modern that, who cares about modern bikes? There are, thousands of them. But these old bikes, there's, I think Harley Davidson, the consensus is there was like 1,500, 1,600 of these made. And, so there's very few floating around the world. If there's a 36 knuckle in the Philippines or Thailand or China or Malaysia or some other obscure place. I mean, how many 36 knuckles are there in the whole continent of Africa? You know, they didn't make a whole lot of them. And historically for the Harley Davidson Motor Company, it was a big deal motorcycle, you know, because there's a lot of stuff they learned from this bike that they incorporated into all the later bikes. And it's a wonderful motorcycle. It's just absolutely a lot of fun. Yeah, and I'm not an expert on 36 knuckles by any means, not even close. But and it sure is a learning experience. Back in the 90s, back in the 80s, you could find this stuff. You could make a couple phone calls and you could find stuff. Now, shit, you're relegated to buying knockoffs, which there's nothing wrong with, you know. But if you're just a diehard and you have to have everything genuine, you know, that's a whole nother story. I mean, I've seen these 36 frames, the knockoffs, and they're nice frames. If I had just unlimited cash, I would probably build another 36 with all knockoff parts. And but here's another thing that I'm always wondering about. You see that step cam cover? Like, I've been told that was on the first 400 bikes, which would fit this VIN number. But you know, you'll see people put those on the later bikes, trying to make them look like the more valuable earlier bikes. And it gets confusing because people don't want to tell you the truth, you know. Like, I think I've seen a couple bikes in the 1500s with that cam cover on it, and from Harley Davidson, they didn't do that. They went with that smooth cam cover towards the end, you know. These are really great bikes. If you have an old Knucklehead motorcycle, don't sell it. Just keep it. You know, sell something else. You know, they're just that bitchin' cool. You know, the stuff is just too fun. It's just too much fun. You know. But anyway, there is, gang. Clutch release lever problem. And any ideas? Let me know. Not a few people ever really know that much about this that comment, so whatever, it's no big deal. But I figured there's probably somebody else out in the universe probably encountered the same problem. So we will catch you on the next YouTube.